So who actually are the Morbius Doctors? Okay, so I'm going to stop the video there and drop in a little announcement. Hello, it's been a while since I've done a Doctor Who video, so I'm not going to waffle on for too long and let you enjoy it. But I did want to let you know that if you're seeing this on the day that it comes out, Sunday the 13th of March 2022, this evening we are doing this big Doctor Who quiz on a live stream. You can take part, you can win an exclusive Quiz Chibnall trophy. Up to 100 people can play, so I just want to let you know, check the link in the description. It's on my Twitch, twitch.tv/gbsheard. It's a massive Doctor Who quiz. You can all compete, you can all play. It's going to be a lot of fun, so please, please, please do go and check that out. And yeah, hopefully see you there. Enjoy the video. So who actually are the Morbius Doctors? A lot of people talk about the Morbius Doctors, especially after 2020's The Timeless Children, where the characters were shown in Doctor Who for the first time since The Brain of Morbius, a Tom Baker serial which introduced the idea. But who are they? Are they the Doctor? Are they Morbius? Was that the original intention? Does any of it matter? No, but let's talk about it anyway. In The Brain of Morbius, the fourth Doctor has a duel with Morbius, a renegade Time Lord, in which we see the third, second and first incarnations of the Doctor flash on screen, before we see another 8 new faces, which have been debated for many years as to who they represent. Are they supposed to be the Doctor, or are they supposed to be Morbius? Well, originally the intention of producer Philip Hinchcliffe was for these faces to be prior incarnations of the Doctor, which at the time made sense. In the same way that regeneration wasn't really a thing until the 10th planet, it at this point didn't conflict with any defined history of the character for the Doctor. As time went on and it seemed that these were just a little one-off cameo to sort of imply that there were Doctors before William Hartnell, a lot of fans didn't take too well to that idea, and it ended up being one of the great Doctor Who plot holes. This led to them being retconned in a lot of fans' headcanons for the show to being faces of Morbius instead of the Doctor. However, in the never at all controversial Doctor Who Series 12, the 13th Doctor discovers that she had a life prior to that of her first incarnation, portrayed by William Hartnell. With the inclusion of Joe Martin's fugitive Doctor at the very least, the Timeless Children, as I'm sure you're all aware, showed us flashes of these faces from the Brain of Morbius once more, implying that these were yet again incarnations of the Doctor prior to that of William Hartnell. But who are the faces, if you'll pardon the pun? Well, originally, Hinchcliffe wanted famous actors to be the faces of these brief cameos, playing earlier versions of the Doctor, with Hinchcliffe even stating, "We tried to get famous actors for faces of the Doctor, but because no one would volunteer, we had to use the backroom boys." And it is true to say that I attempted to imply that William Hartnell was not the first Doctor, which is an interesting note we'll discuss in just a bit. Since they couldn't get anyone, they instead used photos of crew members in fancy dress. They used director Christopher Barry, writer Robert Banks-Stewart, production assistant Christopher Baker, producer Philip Hinchcliffe, director Douglas Camfield, production assistant Graham Harper, script editor Robert Holmes, and production unit manager George Glacier. Graham Harper being the only exception here, as he had his photo taken from an earlier sample used in the Doctor Who story The Colony in Space, where he dressed up for a photo to be the character of Martin Jurgens, which can be seen in a very small image in those episodes. In the episode, these Doctor incarnations appeared through the distorted lens of a red and green screen, and are the only official televised appearance of these incarnations. However, these images were from photographs taken by Bob Comar, who took a close-up colour photo and 2 black and white mid-shots of each actor. Some of these have been lost, but most have been found and restored by Doctor Who magazine and other individuals who fancy having a crack at them, like myself. Since The Timeless Children came out, I was always fascinated with getting some high quality versions of these faces that I at least considered to be proper versions of the Doctor. So I did edit a few of my own, put a few things together, but I'm not the only one in the community, so there's definitely a lot to check out there, and a lot of people who have done some fantastic artwork, whether it's upscaling or whether it's just drawings and cartoons and all that sort of thing. There's been some fantastic stuff in the community that you should definitely check out. My edits of these Doctors are shown throughout this video and in the following part where we talk about aesthetic. Christopher Barry was seen to don a Beefeater-like costume for his Doctor, which is usually recreated to show green stripes down the middle. Robert Banks-Stewart is seen to wear a large dark hat and an oldie England undertop and an almost fluffy jacket. Christopher Baker is seen to be wearing a large hat with a ruffled neckpiece. Philip Hinchcliffe is wearing a light hat with a large feather on it, along with another ruffled neckpiece and a dark coat. Doug Camfield is all about the stripes with a stripy coat, waistcoat and necktie, all in different colours. Graham Harper's a difficult one since his Morbius photo is so close up, but since it's been taken from the photos from Colony, it's easy to place him in a black gown, identical to the one Delgado wears in that same story. Robert Holmes is seen to be wearing an Elizabethan type blue coat with what looks to be a pirate-like hat and a ruffled neckpiece. George Galatio is wearing a tuxedo-type outfit with a top hat and a bow tie. The looks I've edited are based on reference imaging, but also some fan art and some creative license, of course. But there you go. As previously mentioned, it's been greatly debated as to whether or not these have ever been considered or intended to be incarnations of the Doctor, especially with an old BBC article stating that the faces were possibly, but not definitely, previous versions of Morbius. Robert Holmes, the script editor who played one of these incarnations, stated, "We don't know which one Hartnell is, whether he was the first or not. In the phantasmagoric scene, where they are mind wrestling, we see the Doctor forced back through a number of regenerations." This was in a behind the scenes coverage section of The Brain of Morbius from a magazine called In Vision, which in the same issue included a competition page about the so-called Young Doctors, attaching pictures of all Doctors in the Morbius Doctor collection other than Graham Harper for reasons previously mentioned, i.e. his photos were taken from Colony in Space and not made specifically for The Brain of Morbius. All of this information and more can be found online. You can actually download these magazines, as I learned when making this video, and yeah, they're pretty useful resources actually if you want to just check a little bit of history there about the original intentions of this story. However, despite this, and as with most things in Doctor Who, it's up to individual interpretation whether you consider these to be versions of the Doctor. But to me, if you accept Joe Martin's Doctor and the existence of pre-Hartnell Doctors as canon, then there's no reason why these 8 gents can't be included in the Doctor lineup. Even if they are just crew members in costume, it's great to see fans take potential creative licenses of their own to make their own ideas, like the upcoming Timeless Doctors YouTube film for example, who has managed to actually cast Hinchcliffe, Galatio and Harper in the project as their respective Morbius Doctors. It's all up to you, but for me it's one of those many weird and wonderful parts of Doctor Who history that I at least wasn't aware of much prior to 2020. I hope you enjoyed this little video. If you did, please give it a like and consider subscribing. Stay tuned for more and stay up to date by following me on my social medias below. We've also got a podcast that's coming out very soon with its 3rd season, and we do stream semi-regularly on Twitch, so if you want to see some more content from me more regularly, they might be the places to be.